incredible European players coming at you. We have a Laser, Harstem, Spirit, and Mana all fighting for our entertainment and for their own enrichment. Game number 1 here is on Amygdala. We've got Spirit and Harstem. Orange versus green. Top right of Amygdala, it is our orange Terran player, Spirit. Love this kid.
And in the bottom left, representing Rebellion, it's Harstem, the captain, as many call him. And I think a few of his fans are going to be tuning in today, as he not only is a successful YouTuber, he's probably the highest level content creator that also plays in tournaments, which is quite a feat in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, and it's honestly a little bit crazy because the dude basically, I don't want to say he retired from professionally playing StarCraft, but he started his YouTube channel, and every single other content creator who started a YouTube channel kind of fell off of getting high placements in any professional tournament because they're so focused on creating content for their YouTube channel. But man, Harstem, I think, went up a level, and I'm not sure how he did that, but it's very impressive.
Oh, absolutely, and it does speak to the volume of his skill, love for the game, because I don't think he's even streaming right now. Maybe he'll post this on YouTube later on, but for now, he's just, nope, yeah, I'll play in an online cup, sure. And he's probably going to be a bit of a tough match for Spirit. We'll see. I think it's a fairly even match. Looks like a Marine pops out for Spirit, chasing down Harstem's poor scouting probe that probably is finished.
Yeah, I mean, definitely going to die here, but got a good scout out. Saw the one gas, saw the racks. It's not a CC first play or anything crazy like that. Making an adept for a second round of scouting here, expanding himself. And I wonder if Spirit's going to make some nukes today. I think he does like his nuclear weapons, but I'm not sure we're going to get to the late game where we can use them in this matchup.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, chaos can lead to anything, and I think Spirit versus Harstem will definitely be a little bit chaotic. There also is the potential for nukes, say if Spirit advances and maybe he plays a laser in the finals. But that's getting a bit ahead of ourselves, as we just have the Scouting Reaper moving across the map. And Harstem does have an adept in position.
Yeah, exactly. Adepts can be used defensively against the Reapers, also offensively as scouting and harassing, which is going on at the same time here for Harstem. He scouts, he sees the bunker. He wants to, get a kill with this Adept, but hey, the SCV pull back to the bunker, and the Adept says, not worth chasing here. Yeah. The Reaper is also getting a full scout here, but a Stalker is chasing him down, and the Reaper is dead after 2 kills.
Yeah, that's not bad at all for the Reaper.
Ooh.
Grabbing 2 kills. Usually Terran will be happy with 1 kill for the Reaper death, so Spirit will definitely take that. He also didn't lose his... Well, he lost a Marine to the Adept, so all in all, I don't know. Nothing too significant happening yet. That is the next plan to get damage done from Spirit is going to be a Widowmine drop, which have not fallen out of fashion despite Blizzard's attempts to rein them in a little bit.
Yeah, it is funny when Blizzard tries to, nerf something, make it less popular in the matchup, like, mass Ravens and stuff, and then they nerf it a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and they're like, still popular. So yeah, that's what's happening here with Widow Mines. So hopefully they don't delete Widow Mines like they did the damage for the Hunter-Seeker missile on Ravens, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Hunter-Seeker missile damage was the best timeline for Terran.
It was, and it's so funny because they're like, we don't like mass Raven builds because we hate mass anything builds in StarCraft. That has been just an absolute driving force for them. Is we never want one unit massed to be good at the professional level of our game. And so, yeah, they shut down really nicely done, nice with the micro there from Harstem. So they tried to basically say, okay, Hunter-Seeker missiles, they did like 20 damage splash, and it was really strong because you'd have, 20 Ravens with 20 damage per unit doing splash damage on like a group of Broodlords or something, and delete it. I'm like, oh, that's too strong. So they knocked it down to like 10, then to 5, and then even with 5, it was still too good, and they're like, all right, fine, no damage. It just does the debuff for the armor, and that's where we ended today. So yeah, really, really, really interesting stuff in the history of the balancing for StarCraft 2.
It definitely was very interesting, the Mass Raven spam. Now, as far as the start of this game goes, Harstem has taken a little bit of damage, but he's getting a bit of counter damage done now that he does have this Prism and Blink Stalkers. Spirit does have very good positioning. You'll notice this nice wall using all his production structures. And then he also went for double bunkers on the front line, so not taking any chances. Harstem is probably just going to have to throw up a third. Widowmine goes back into the natural base of Harstem. Good micro in order to shut that down, though. Losing the bare minimum.
Blink. Yeah, that was fantastic. It is tough blink dodging Widowmine shots. I can tell you that much, but Harstem's a pro. As we've said, he is ready to go. Raven swinging across the map here for some auto turret harass the main line of Harstem. Most likely going to try to sneak. Third base, warp it in from Harstem, getting himself a robotics bay here too. What do we think? We think Colossus, we think Disruptors. As he's pushing front, that bunker is not going to last for long. No repair on that bunker. Auto turret gets down. 3, 4 probes die. This has been a really nice back and forth.
Yeah, it definitely has been. I think Spirit's been being a little bit more aggressive. Harstem does want to try and get this bunker, though, and it looks like he will. Not sure if he can take this any further, though, as there is that tank and a boatload of Marines for Spirit at the natural base. They're going to have Stim Pack in 10 seconds. Harstem does have the third building, but it is a rather delayed third. That's why I think things are generally in Spirit's favor. At some point in TVP, Protoss usually has to make the decision, am I going to get tons of damage done on 2 bases, or am I going to expand? And for Harstem, he did not get a ton of damage done yet, but look at this, he's actually sending in his Prism, absorbs a Widowmine shot, and then he blinks right on into a ton of bio, and that is Harstem feeling pressured to get damage done, but unsuccessfully. GG.
Yeah, the combination of losing that Widow or the Warp Prism to the Widowmine, then getting jumped on by all those stimmed Marines was just too much for Harstem to handle. Their Spirit takes game number 1 here. Nicely done. We said that Harstem was probably a little bit favored here, but that's why we play the games. Is because if we just say who's favored, then we don't play them. We don't get surprised ever. And that was awesome. That was really, really cool stuff. So what's up, Nightjar? Yeah. That was a good blink, but, you know, the second blink at the end of the game there by Harstem, maybe not quite as good. So we are moving in here to Whispers of Gold for game number 2 of this best of 5, first best of 5 for SOOP StarCraft Global number 13. Thanks for everyone for being here. Thanks for signing up for an account here at Laughing Games channel. This is where these events are going to be. From this point on, you can sign up. You can click the heart button to follow. You can like the stream. Looks like everyone is ready to go here and having a good time so far. So thanks for being here. Yeah, there we go. Harstem's in. Spirit's in. Both players say they're ready to rock. Let's get into game numero 2.
Yeah, thanks so much to everyone tuning in, as Falcon said. Yeah, we're trying to do more of these EU events, so let your friends know what you're watching, share it on whatever social media you got, that kind of good stuff. As here we go into game number 2.
And how? All right, rocked it up, ready to go. Top left of Whispers of Gold. It's the captain. It is Harstem.
And in the bottom right, playing that previous game, pretty standard, but it worked out pretty well. It's Spirit.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything too crazy. The Raven harass, the Widowmine drops, all that stuff is very, very standard in this matchup these days. Stim was maybe a little bit late, but it was definitely on time for his needs. He had it ready to go, and those stalkers showed up and obliterated every single one of them. And like you said, Harstem's third base was late. He was going to have a hard time dealing with a big Marine Marauder army with Stim at that stage of the game if his stalker count got reset. So he tapped and said, let's go to game number 2. It's not a best of 3. It's not a best of 1. We can live to fight again. And that's exactly what he's doing. Early gas.
Yeah, Spirit does go for a double gas opening, so changing it up. But that's why Harstem scouts. Harstem sees that second supply depot and immediately knows he's up against a double gas play, being a little cute with his probe, like, hey, I'm going into your main base, raise your depot, trap me. But Harstem is not gonna actually let himself lose that probe, as there's no
not
reason
this
to.
time. No, definitely not. Harstem throws down the Nexus on the other side of the map. Factory finishing up quite shortly here for Spirit. We got Warp Gate for Harstem starting at 2 minutes and 9 seconds on the nose. And Reaper swinging across the sea. Is this an expansion? Is this some kind of a one-base play? The answer is no. Both players are now going into their second bases, which is very, very popular. Really, ever since they changed the starting worker count to 12, I think maybe that was the time that we got, boom,
yeah.
SKD8 charge. That's the time that two-base plays became really, really, really standard, and one base just kind of fell almost entirely off the map.
Yeah, aside from the most aggressive cheeses, one base is just, we're gone, basically.
Yeah,
even
because you
those...
just had...
Sorry, go on.
Oh no, you're fine. Even the the 4 gates and stuff.
Yeah, even those have fallen off because it's, with the meta being more stable, it's hard to get those surprise victories, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, when you start out with 12 workers, you can expand earlier, and so one base timings show up. You've got two bases, you have the better economy. Plus, you can also have enough to deal with whatever's coming at you off of one base. It's just, you have the money to do both.
Yeah, it's pretty much just PvP where one bases are still quite prevalent.
PvP is a lawless battleground, is what it is.
It's the Wild West. It's like Fallout.
Harstem loving his blink again. All Protoss players generally do. In every matchup, really. There's no matchup where you're like, man, I sure don't like blink here. Ooh, stutter step. Got an adept. The other one does manage to shade out of there.
Yeah, he does
coming
at
back
least
in.
See the Medivac crossing the map, and then also did get 2 Marines for the adept, so it's like, okay, that's an R8 trade. Stalker out on the map's going to intercept this Medivac, but it is just a Stalker, so not going to be able to pressure that hard. Harstem will have another Stalker back at home, and we'll see if he warps on in another one soon enough to help out. Actually warps one into the natural, so Harstem, having good game sense, knows that this Hellion is out there and is going to start chasing that down, although it will begin shooting at probes, and it doesn't get a kill. Probes have to
wasted
abandon
attack on the Stalker there.
Oh, dear.
Gosh, no. Okay. Harstem brought those back in, thought they were safe. They were not. Finally decides, fine, we'll take the probe you're offering me. You suck. One probe it is. And Harstem firing up a Warp Prism again. Let's see if he can keep this one alive a little bit longer.
Yeah, fires up a Prism. He's on 3 racks right now, so sort of middle ground as far as macro and aggression. And Harstem actually canceled his Prism and just went right into an Observer. Which is quite interesting, but I guess he wanted the minerals so he could throw up that 3rd Nexus. Still not the quickest 3rd in the world, but definitely quicker than the previous game, a whole minute quicker at least. So that is going to allow him to play this game out more macro focused, just be more comfortable and not feel as pressured to try and get something done with Stalkers, which is a very mature decision by Harstem.
Yeah, he's been playing this game for a while. He knows the ins and the outs here. Raven, auto turret harass. Raven getting chased down and killed this time. Oh no! I thought he was going to get him. Woof, dead airspace. Widow mine shot. Oh gosh, 7 probes have been killed and a Stalker got murdered there too.
Yeah, that is quite painful for Harstem. Does seem that Spirit's playing pretty solid in the sense that he's not leaving Harstem a lot of opportunity to get something done. As I say that, though, he does salvage his bunker, probably at the worst possible moment as Harstem is moving across the map. Raven comes on in to harass more, though. Stalkers can now start kiting these Marines. Is Harstem going to go for the blink on top of the tank? Yes, he does. It is a risky blink, though, as that is a lot of Marines for Spirit. Still, though, not a bad trade for the Protoss. 4 Stalkers for a tank and quite a few Marines.
Yeah, definitely. You keep that tank count low, you're happy. Oh, the blink into the main base. Yeah, what do you want to go after here? Add-ons? You want to try to get that tank inside the main? Not really, just kind of individual SCVs here and then skedaddling on out. Or at least hiding in a corner for now.
Yeah, may force a lift on that factory. We'll see. He can always just blink out at the last second. Harstem does some good micro. Doesn't get anything else, but keeping pressure on Spirit is quite nice. As the Protoss does fire up a Colossus behind this, he's getting charged as well. We'll see if he throws down a Forge so he can potentially try and catch up to Spirit in upgrades.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good on both sides. Colossus, Extended Thermal Lance. We got Marauder production coming in 2 at a time. Widow Mines. We've got Medivacs. We are setting up for a bit of a longer game this time. I think we're already past the end point of game number 1, so that's nice. A little bit, some bigger engagements here, more splash damage. Good snipe on that Obs. Third base gonna land, and Harstem says, well, either I go now or I'm gonna have to get a 4th Nexus relatively soon.
Cute micro.
And Spirit says, maybe I'll attack while I'm expanding. Who knows? That's a crazy idea.
Yeah, and it's not going to be the easiest hold for Harstem. He does only have 1 Colossus, so presently he did warp in a few charge lots, though, and he is trying to seize momentum by moving out on the map, and it does go fairly well, but then he does end up getting pushed back, has to retreat to the battery. Meanwhile, there's a drop inside the main base. More Widow Mines from Spirit. Harstem warps in a Stalker to try and shut this down, but there's still a Widow Mine in his main base that he cannot forget about. There it goes burrowing. Still Spirit getting mining denial inside the main.
Yeah, so far, I mean, Spirit's on 3 bases, Harstem's on 3 bases. There you go, throwing up that 4th base now.
Spirit looking to go for a drop inside the main base. Harstem is on it, though, with an Observer, giving him advance notice that this is coming his way. He warps in a Zealot to help out, and he does have a battery that he can skirmish around, which is going to help him shut this down. Blinks after the Medivacs. Every bit of damage on that matters, as it makes it much more risky for Spirit to go back in. Harstem has that 4th Nexus on the way up. Spirit making Ghost Vikings into his own 4th, though. And this is the thing in TvP these days. It seems that Terrans are not as scared, so it's much more difficult for Protoss to get a big economic lead like they did in the old days, it seems. So, like, Spirit's like, yeah, I'll get up a 4th base on location, why not? And yeah, then he's just making a counter to everything Harstem has, so it's not going to be easy for the Protoss. Like, Harstem, he goes into Disruptors, as those are something that there isn't a direct counter for, but still, he's going to have to get himself set up for a good engagement at some point, and that's not going to be easy, because Spirit's Bio Ball is just massive. 17 Marauders, 18 Marines, a couple Ghosts, a couple Vikings mixed in there. Harstem is going to need a very good Disruptor hit, I think.
Yeah, and the problem is Disruptors don't one-shot Marauders anymore, so they can take a shot and still stem in there and take you out. So, yeah, Marauders, I think, are maybe the answer to Disruptors at this point. Not that they needed one. Again, I don't know why most recent balance changes did stuff to help Terran in this matchup, because I don't think they needed it. But anyway, coming across, got our Vikings that the Colossus decide to show their faces, which they are. There are the magic number of 3 of them there. War Prism, unloading the speed lots inside the main base. Everybody hates a bunch of charge lots inside your main base. But enough Marines to clear those suckers out. They've got stim. They're ready to go. The attack into the base of Harstem at the 4th here. Falling back, a single force field. Colossus getting some really nice swipes off, and Spirit gonna pick up and boost into the main base.
Beautiful blink by Harstem. Yeah, and look at this. The Protoss moving down, trying to seize the momentum of Spirit having to do that emergency landing. But as far as what there is to buffer for Harstem, it's not that much. His army has been thinned out by the skirmishes.
That was a nice hold by Harstem, without a doubt. 94 to 75 army supply right now, though, by Spirit. Triple pumping Vikings. just trying to dodge those stalkers. It is a engagement as old as time here. Vikings against Colossus, Stalkers against the Vikings, the Wings of Liberty thing, man. Nice pickoff on that tank. He's target firing what he wants to here, and the Disruptor shot does connect. Take out a bunch of dudes. Nobody's at full HP on the ground there for Spirit. He's trying to heal those guys up. I guess a couple of them do have full greens, but not looking great. Harstem trying to expand under duress here. Very, very dangerous times.
It really is. Spirit is not letting up as he's constantly poking and prodding Harstem. Harstem does have that observer, giving him perfect vision on Spirit's army, which is definitely big, though. Small move out by Spirit with a Medivac trying to get something done. We also have what I think must have been a Zealot or two. Harstem is hanging on, but it's definitely not super comfortable for the Protoss. Looks like he does find that Medivac of Spirit. That's quite nice. The Terran is also finding it difficult to push on in, but look at this. In goes all the Vikings, and there's simply so many. The Colossus are in a lot of trouble for Harstem. He was trying to keep them alive inside the Prism. Spirit shoots down those Colossus. The Vikings are now flying towards the main or the third base, and then Harstem has just got Zealots, Disruptors, and Stalkers to try and deal with all this bio.
Yeah, that's not happening. That is not happening to the gateway units here. The Vikings landing, getting some damage there too. You can force the Terran army back, forcing them to kite. EMP gets tossed down. Disruptor at the front, waiting to get another hit off there. Did shove Spirit pretty far away here. The Vikings are finally getting cleared out, but doing bonus damage versus Stalkers. There's Marines inside the third base too. Oh my gosh, that Zealot's being healed by a shield battery. It's not quite, is it quite? Oh my gosh, it was quite enough. That Zealot survives. Insane stuff. Disruptor getting target fire there. Second Disruptor comes in, tries to get in, shot off. Nice micro back. Nothing dies in Spirit's army down there. 6 probes have died on the other side of it. 95 to 60 army supply. Harstem has a better economy. He's kept his 5th base down here, but a Liberator shows up, and we're just kind of losing it here.
Yeah, he's kept his 5th base alive, but we're seeing how hard the Protoss is having to fight to survive. And Spirit himself is just casually taking a 3rd behind this. A big Disruptor shot does get tossed out. Good dodge or good snipe down by Spirit, though. And Harstem's supply is just so small. Spirit takes the 2-1 lead just like that.
Ooh, man, those Colossus died. The Disruptors did not get the value that they needed to. And if that's not happened for you in a PvT, it is a tough road to go down. The EMPs were fantastic as well. I mean, we're looking at some really, really impressive stuff by Spirit here. Is he playing better over the last couple of months or something? What's going on? I need to check his resume recently.
Quite well. He's been one of the players nipping at Clem's heels. I think he even beat Clem once or twice.
Okay.
So he is looking quite formidable at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's killing it. He made it to the finals of a StarCraft Evolution tournament that I was keeping track of a couple weeks ago too. So, yeah, he's playing really, really well right now. I'm impressed. 2-0 lead here on Harstem. We really talked up Harstem to start this thing. And then Spirit's like, oh yeah, what about me? And gets a 2-0 lead on the captain here after just a couple games. So it looks like we're both in the lobby here on ley lines for game number 3. We'll see if Harstem can do a reverse sweep potentially, or if Spirit just kind of takes this thing with another game, or maybe forces a game 5. We'll have to see where we end up with this. But thanks for hanging out here for SOOP StarCraft Global number 13. You're the best. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting StarCraft in 2025. And bam, heading out to ley lines for our next match.
Yeah, let your friends know what you're up to. If you're just lurking in chat, feel free to make an account and let us know what you're up to. But here we are into the next match. It's Spirit and Harstem. Okay. In the upper right, representing Rebellion, it's Harstem.
And in the bottom left, he's Spirit. Yeah, it's really tough these days. I mean, I mentioned this earlier, but PvT has been an absolute just trouble spot for Protoss for so long now. Not that they love playing against Zerg right now, but Terran especially seems to really have all the answers they need to deal with a good Protoss player. And, you know, the Balance Council's been making changes and shifting that and changing this. And it just doesn't seem like it's helping a lot. It still seems like Terran has the ability to show up here, and Protoss feels a little bit helpless at times, which is never a feeling you want to have in a game of StarCraft.
No, it is not.
Discord's doing that thing where it like puts the chats inside the game you're playing.
Oh, is it?
I turned that off years ago and it's back now. I don't know what turned it back on.
It randomly turned on the overlay for me the other day. It's like, no, I hate your garbage platform.
Where is it? Where do I turn this off?
And then they move the setting every time. They're like, try and disable it this time.
Good luck. We only have 47 separate settings categories.
Yeah, I think they do have a search option, but...
Oh, they do. Overlay? Game overlay? Oh, yeah, that was it. Thanks. Bam. Turn it off. Turn it off. Okay, it's gone. Good. Less distracting now. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, apologies for the
GG.
for the poor observing for a second there as well, everyone. I was been trying to set up some hotkeys since I'm not using a scene switcher anymore. So like I found a hotkey to basically switch us to the in-game scene every time I press the hotkeys to set up the score for the matches. So it's like that's something I do every game, so I won't forget about that. But I just looked and it wasn't switching because I usually use like the broadcaster mode that has like basically you have to confirm when you're switching a scene. But so I had to disable that, but anyway, should be good now.
Yeah, that's smart.
Adepts for Harstem are poking at Spirit, microing against the Hellions. Good micro for Spirit though, and I think he may be able to get all these Adepts, or at least one of them, for the price of one Marine, which is not great at all for the Protoss. Harstem is going to need all the firepower he can get, as Spirit is not making just those 2 Hellions. He's going up to 4, and 4 Hellions are absolute probe killers. So Harstem's really going to have to hunker down here for a moment. He's got the 1 Adept that just shaded out on the map, looking for a proxy starport, I suppose. Is that something Spirit can do from time to time? Stalkers are in the wall. However, Harstem, he's like, where are they going to come? As he's a little bit nervous. The Adept is moving out on the map, trying to scout this out. There is a single Stalker in the main, but joined by 2 of his friends. So Harstem really knows. Like, he's got this figured out in the game sense that something is coming. It's just a matter of...
it's a Terran. There's always something coming.
It's true. It's just a matter of being in the right position. So far, he does have 5 Hellions in his main, which is very, very nice. He's also got a probe in his wall ready to throw down a pylon, a forward spotting pylon to defend his natural, so he can have all this firepower inside his main base, although Harstem does reposition his Stalkers from his natural, as he can't just sit there all day. He's now going to be moving out with the Prism to look for some counter damage. That may just open him up a little bit, but yeah, look at this. All the little things that Harstem is doing correctly here. He's building a pylon now in the upper left, so he'll have as much vision and as much notice as possible when Spirit does move in with a drop. Harstem wasn't born yesterday. Now, he does want to try and get some counter damage done with this Prism and the Stalkers. There is an exposed siege tank by itself inside the main base. However, we do see Spirit elevate those Hellions inside the main base. Harstem is in a world of trouble as the probes are all still clumped up, and he did not have his units properly to defend. He's going for a counterattack with his Stalkers, and he does get the tank, so that is counter damage potential, but he has lost 18, 19 probes, and there's going to be more dying as well. They are all clumped up. Good probe pull to shut down the last of those Hellions, but now Harstem needs to get massive amounts of counter damage done, or he will just be dead in this game.
Man, those probes were lined up back there, but they turned on their repressors and murdered the Hellions. And that was incredible. I thought they were all going to die, and then none of them did. It was awesome. Okay, but yeah, a lot of their friends died there, unfortunately. So as you said, Harstem needs to find some damage here. Losing that obs is not going to help him find that damage. Second obs inside the main base is getting some good scouting off there, though. And here we go, blinking in, warping in more Stalkers. Army is 27 and 19 army supply. Harstem has a lead. It's all Stalkers and Warp Prism. Blinks in, takes down a bunker. Secondary bunker is here, repairing the second bunker. Woo, you actually have to repair it. He brings the SCVs over. There's the repair. You can't take it down. Not enough Stalkers, not enough burst damage. A siege tank has arrived, and Harstem's got to get out of there.
Yeah, Spirit's repositioning is enough to force Harstem away. Now there's 3 tanks out for the Terran, so he can have 2 in the main, 1 at the natural. That's going to make going in again for Harstem much more costly, but the Protoss is rather committed. He blinks on in once more. He will at least get the bunker, which is going to open up further potential aggression, as he just wants to wait for those Stalkers to come off blink cooldown, maybe regenerate a little bit of shields. The Protoss really is all in here. He's got 33 probes. He even canceled his 3rd base. Harstem is going for the win. He's gonna blink on top of that tank, and now he can engage the Marines at the natural of Spirit, making something happen as the rest of the tanks are out of range. He could potentially grab this command center, although Harstem knows he needs to end the game, so he does blink in, trades out for another tank. Just 1 or 2 Stalkers died. Now he's gonna get the depot. There is still many Marines and SCVs though, but as long as Spirit's not mining on this natural, this could be good for Harstem. There is no observer.
Back to mining, though.
Or there is an observer. Where is it? Yes, so that is high ground vision for Harstem, so that's actually very important. The Prism provides that, really, though. He gets Spirit's blink, which is big. There's a turret in the bottom right, but Harstem stays out of range of that. He's picking off all these precious add-ons for the Terran, and then he's just going to get on out of there. Nicely done by Harstem. Now Spirit's rather out of position at his natural once again.
Trying to hang on here with these Marines, pulling the SCVs a little bit just to chase some buffer for the siege tank that is keeping him alive. Harstem's 3rd base is now getting started back home. So he's decided he's done maybe enough damage, maybe kind of kept Spirit on 2 bases long enough, forced a lift off, killed some SCVs. Worker count is even now, which is not where you want to be as a Protoss player, but it's better than it was about 2 minutes ago.
Now in goes Harstem with DTs in the Prism, gonna unload them on one of the tanks, force a scan out. Spirit immediately drops a scan. He does lose the tank, though. Harstem keeps the Prism alive behind the base. He's now going in with his Stalkers. Oh no, miss micro from Harstem for a second. Although that was actually planned, as he just traded out Stalkers for the tanks, but it is gonna cost him virtually all his Stalkers. Harstem makes an attempt, but does fall.